What happens when a leader's words cut deeper than diplomacy, and policies ignite more backlash than reform? During Donald Trump's presidency, this question became reality for a surprising number of U.S. allies and adversaries. From trade wars to territorial insults, 10 powerful nations, some of them long-standing partners, took serious issue with Trump's decisions. But these aren't just political misunderstandings. These are stories of broken trust, economic retaliation, and deeply personal national wounds. In this video, we reveal the 10 countries that absolutely disliked President Trump, and exactly why. Guess which nation tops the list? Is it a neighbor, an economic rival, or a friend-turned-critic? Comment below with your guess. And stay tuned because we'll reveal the answer as the video unfolds. You don't want to miss the shocking details. Before we continue, just a reminder, everything you're hearing in this video isn't just opinion or assumption. These are real events, backed by verified news sources, government data, and official statements. If you want to read them yourself, I've included the links in the description and pinned comment below this video. Country number 1, Canada. The Canada-US relationship was once considered a model of neighborly diplomacy. But under Trump, that goodwill hit a wall, built not of bricks, but of tariffs. In 2024 to 2025, Trump imposed steep duties on Canadian steel and aluminum, sparking outrage. He didn't stop there. On his Truth Social account, he accused Canada of being propped up by U.S. subsidies, and even joked it should become the 51st state. These comments, while dismissed by some as rhetorical flair, stung deeply in Ottawa. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau pushed back hard, saying at a G7 summit, "Canadians will always protect Canadian workers and Canadian interests." Trump's response? He called Trudeau very dishonest and weak. It wasn't just political theater, it was a diplomatic fracture. Canadian media and officials painted Trump's moves as threats to their economy and sovereignty. According to NBC News, the hostility between Trump and Trudeau was unprecedented, creating long-term skepticism about American leadership among Canadians. Country number 2, Mexico. For Mexico, Trump's presidency began with a wall and ended with a warning of rebellion. From his first campaign speech blaming Mexican immigrants for U.S. problems, Trump set the tone for a hostile relationship. By 2024, his threats to close the U.S.-Mexico border escalated tensions. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador warned such actions could spark a rebellion on both sides. And by 2025, when Trump slapped a 25% tariff on all Mexican imports, newly elected President Claudia Sheinbaum hit back with retaliatory tariffs, branding the move a flagrant violation of the USMCA trade deal. Mexico's economy, deeply intertwined with the U.S., stood on shaky ground. The Guardian reported that experts viewed Trump's threats not as empty campaign slogans, but direct attacks on Mexican livelihoods. Public rebukes from Mexican officials became common, and anti-Trump sentiment solidified across media and political lines. Trump's legacy in Mexico? Distrust, defiance, and economic disruption. Country number 3, China. It wasn't just trade, it was a cold war of words and sanctions. Trump's aggressive stance toward China made global headlines, especially when he launched sweeping tariffs, banned Chinese tech giants like Huawei, and referred to COVID-19 as the Chinese virus. But it was in 2025 that the Chinese government drew a public line in the sand. After Trump claimed trade talks had resumed, China's foreign ministry swiftly denied it and criticized the U.S. for creating confusion. Foreign Minister Wang Yi didn't mince words, accusing the Trump administration of bullying pressure and coercive transactions. This was more than a trade dispute. Beijing viewed Trump's tactics as threats to China's sovereignty and global influence. State-controlled media in China repeatedly painted Trump as a destabilizing force, especially over flashpoints like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and the South China Sea. The country's propaganda machine kicked into overdrive, emphasizing how Trump's extreme egoism damaged global diplomacy. As Reuters reported, Chinese officials dismissed Trump's statements as falsehoods and insisted Washington was to blame for derailing stability. Country number 4. Iran. If any country felt the full force of Trump's foreign policy aggression, it was Iran. In 2018, Trump unilaterally pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear deal, a move that shattered years of multilateral negotiations. The fallout was swift and severe. Trump's administration unleashed a maximum pressure campaign that crippled Iran's economy. Inflation soared, the rial hit record lows, and oil exports plummeted. The hostility was not just economic, it became deeply personal. In May 2025, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei declared Trump's recent remarks during his Middle East tour a disgrace to the American nation, adding that many of Trump's statements weren't even worth responding to. On the streets of Tehran, the anger was palpable. After Trump's 2024 election win, a student told AP News, "Our economy will surely get worse. I feel the country is going to blow up." The Al Jazeera report noted how Iranian media consistently portrayed Trump as the embodiment of American arrogance and hostility. His legacy in Iran is one of fear, resistance, and defiance. State-run press still echoes chants of "Death to America," now more focused than ever on one man. Country number 5. Germany. The transatlantic alliance between the U.S. and Germany took a cold, sharp turn under Trump's leadership. One of the biggest flashpoints came when Trump branded Germany a captive of Russia at a 2018 NATO summit. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas fired back, "We are not prisoners, neither of Russia nor of the United States." Trump repeatedly criticized Germany for not spending enough on defense and threatened tariffs on German cars. In a 2024 interview, former Chancellor Angela Merkel admitted that Trump's re-election filled her with sadness, warning that a leader who believes in only winners and losers makes international cooperation very difficult. She also slammed the influence of big business on Trump's decisions. From Bundestag debates to media coverage, Germany's distrust of Trump became widespread and openly vocal. Country number 6. France. France's tensions with Trump weren't just political, they were philosophical. President Emmanuel Macron, a staunch believer in global cooperation, stood in direct opposition to Trump's isolationist agenda. When Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, Macron responded with a viral message, "Make our planet great again," and invited American scientists to France. That wasn't just diplomacy, it was a direct ideological counterattack. Macron continued to criticize Trump in public, warning that his America First approach was weakening global alliances. French media portrayed Trump as a reckless disruptor. Even after a friendly call in 2024, Macron made it clear that the damage to transatlantic trust had already been done. For the French, Trump came to symbolize everything they feared about rising nationalism. Country number 7. United Kingdom. The special relationship faced rough waters under Trump. While British leaders like Theresa May and Boris Johnson kept a formal tone, many British officials were less reserved. Labour MP David Lammy called Trump a woman-hating, neo-Nazi sympathizing sociopath. London Mayor Sadiq Khan dubbed him a global threat. Trump's visits to the UK triggered mass protests. His travel bans, NATO criticisms, and offensive rhetoric pushed British public opinion sharply against him. According to the Washington Post, Even conservative lawmakers found his tone difficult to defend. Britain may remain a close ally to the US, but under Trump, the warmth turned cold. Country number 8. Pakistan. Trump's relationship with Pakistan was volatile. In 2025, his administration imposed a 29% tariff on Pakistani exports. Islamabad considered importing US crude to rebalance trade. But it wasn't just economics. Trump's comments on brokering peace between India and Pakistan over Kashmir were seen as arrogant. He said, "I don't want to say I did it, but I helped settle the problem." India dismissed the claim. Pakistan was left in an awkward diplomatic spot. Domestically, Trump's travel ban and halted refugee resettlement created backlash. With 20,000 Afghan refugees stranded in Pakistan, local officials warned of deportations. Pakistani citizens criticized the bans as strange, given the country's alliance with the US. Despite some trade talk, Trump's unpredictable actions left many in Pakistan frustrated. Country number 9. Turkey. Trump's second term saw thawing ties with Turkey, but not without controversy. President Erdogan praised Trump's willingness to ease sanctions on Turkey's defense sector. Talks resumed on military deals like the F-35s, and both leaders discussed cooperation on ending the war in Ukraine. But rights activists warned of growing authoritarianism in Turkey, especially after the arrest of Istanbul's mayor. Critics argued that Trump was turning a blind eye to Turkey's democratic decline. While Erdogan appreciated Trump's pragmatism, much of the international community saw their closeness as risky. Turkey welcomed Trump, but not without raising eyebrows globally. Country number 10. South Korea. In 2025, Trump reignited trade tensions with South Korea by slapping 25% tariffs on key exports like semiconductors and cars. The move hit South Korea's economy hard. Companies like GM Korea faced financial stress, and the government announced a $23 billion relief package for tech industries. As South Korea approaches elections, U.S. relations are front and center. Debates rage over whether Trump's policies have harmed the alliance. Diplomats are working to stabilize ties, but resentment simmers. For a country that's long relied on U.S. partnership, Trump's moves introduced a wave of economic and political uncertainty. These 10 stories reveal something deeper than policy disputes. They reflect a global shift in how U.S. leadership is perceived when diplomacy gives way to disruption. Donald Trump's tenure didn't just challenge norms. It forced allies to reassess, rivals to react, and smaller nations to resist. In each of these cases, the backlash wasn't limited to closed-door meetings or media headlines. It echoed through streets, parliaments, and markets around the world. As we look ahead, one question remains. Can fractured alliances be mended? Or will the legacy of these turbulent years continue to shape global diplomacy for generations to come? The world is watching. The choices made by leaders on both sides of every border will decide whether bridges are rebuilt or burned for good. Which country surprised you the most? Comment below.